Good evening, fans, and welcome to the LB Gym here in Fredericton. Been a beautifully warm day here in Fredericton. It's cooling off a bit, though, now as we get into the evening. We're still on the right side of 0, +2. Back here on Tommy's TV and ACAA TV with ACAA men's basketball. The visiting UNBSJ Seawolves and the host St. Thomas Tommies. They renew acquaintances one more time here in the new year. They met twice in a row just before Christmas, November 29th. And then December 6th. November 29th at SJ, it was the Tommies 91 and the Seawolves 76. And December 6th here at STU, it was the Tommies 87, the Seawolves 77. STU led by as many as 21. Ethan Zamurda had 24 points, 12 boards for the Seawolves. AJ Nash 21 points, 6 boards, but only 1 assist for the Tommies. Marcus Wilson 19 points, Jevin Eddy 16 points and 8 rebounds. Five STU players in double figures. Seawolves plus 15 field goal attempts, but they were outshot 42% to 34, and three-pointers were a big difference as well. The Tommies making 10 of 30 to the Seawolves 3 of 34. Seawolves led in rebounding 50-35, including 21 offensive. Picking up the starters, 4 is Ethan Zamurda. 6 is Darren Clark. 9 is AJ Nash. He is really the straw that stirs the drink for the Seawolves. And we're going to have Doyle Burton wearing number 10 and Lance Howlett wearing number 14. Starters for the Tommies, 3 is Vince Littleton, 5th-year guard out of Markham, Ontario. Number 5, Marcus Wilson, 2nd year out of Miramichi. Evan Villain, number 9, 5th year out of Miramichi. 10, CJ Hansen, 3rd year out of Manchester, England. And number 21 is Jevin Eddy. Eddy, a 4th year player out of Ajax, Ontario. Tommies. Villain will take the top. Players give the jerseys a tuck. And we're just about set to get underway. Crew Chief Spencer Jeffrey will toss the ball up. Tip controlled by Howlett. And the Seawolves, Darren Clark. Nowhere to go, the Tommies. Open and man-to-man defense, three-pointer made by Zamurda. Wilson off for Villain. To back from Villain. Hansen, the drive baseline into traffic. Nowhere to go, the putback's no good, rebound ripped away by Zamurda. Zamurda for Nash. A couple times on offense. There's a switch. I was going to say, Eddy's ended up on Zamurda, or pardon me, ended up on Nash a couple times. And it's just thrown me for a loop here trying to figure out what's going on. 2-1 Seawolves against Eddy. And a score there from Burton. 5-0 Seawolves. Eddy will look to go to work now in the low post. Good defense by the Seawolves. Rebound Zamurda. Clark for 3. 8-0 start for St. John here in the first minute and a half. Villain tries a 3. That one no good. Rebound cleared away by Burton. Clark on the run. Kick out. Howlett for 3. Rebound inside by the Tommies. Long outlet pass for Hanson. Back for Littleton. Tommies come in 6-0. The Seawolves 5-1. And there's Wilson with a 3 to get the Tommies on the board. Clark, step back 3 over Littleton. No good. Rebound to Hanson. Hanson off for Wilson. Wilson looking for a cutting Eddie. Hands in the way. And somehow it ends up with Vince Littleton. 14 to shoot for the Tommies. Littleton goes to work. Short on the shot. Verlaine and Clark, and it's going to be out of bounds off of Clark. Wilson with a shot that time, rebound by Burton. Ahead for Nash. Nash off to Zamurda. Back for Nash. Burton looks for a cutting Clark, and that one not touched on the way through. Horn set coming here for the Tommies. Verlaine and Eddie double high post. Eddie with the catch off for Wilson. Now Verlaine down low. Littleton from 15 leaves it short again. Foul on the Tommies. Hanson puts his hand up. And he will get the foul. First Tommies foul. It's going to send Zamurda to the line. Another good season from Ethan. 15 points, just shy of 7 boards, and almost 2.5 assists. Perfect from the free throw line thus far on the year. Stays that way. Subs coming for the Tommies. Schulten lands and Duel. And in for the Seawolves, Ewan Wilson, Dove Kahn. Kahn wears 7, Wilson 3. Duel for Verlaine, fall away. Round the rim and drops in. Nice shot, soft shot from Verlaine. Nice look inside from Nash to Burton. Give Nash the assist. Said how important it was off the top that Tommies held Nash to only 1 assist in that game just prior to the break. Picks up 1 there. He's not going to shoot a lot from beyond the arc. If you can make him a 3-point shooter, that's a good thing if you're the opposition. When he gets into that painted area, he's extremely dangerous. And he looks to get there as much as he possibly can. Wilson, he likes it beyond the arc. Verlaine collects a rebound. Tommy's down 7. Verlaine looking for Schulten. Schulten gets the loose ball out of that mess somehow. Back for Wilson. Zach Duel a miss on a triple attempt. There's a make on a triple attempt from Zamurda. Timeout Tommies as the Seawolves have got it going in this one. Other games today in the ACAA, Holland College and Crandall, and I checked that score just before this game. They were locked in a tight game, as would expect with those two schools. At Mount St. Vincent at Mount A. It's a 7 o'clock scheduled start. Looking at the standings, the Tommies 6-0, the Seawolves 5-1, the Mystics 5-2, Crandall 3-4, Mount A 2-4, Holland 2-5, and UKC 0-7. UKC idle this week before going to Holland for a pair next weekend. Mount A comes here to play STU, and UNBSJ at Mount St. Vincent. Tough stretch of games for the Seawolves. 3 to go in a row versus the Tommies going back to November. And we'll finish up with this one, and then 2 on the road at Mount St. Vincent. Home stretch of their schedule gets easier from there, and say that only based on the standings. No easy games in the ACAA. You get 5 in a row against the teams that are right with you in the top 3 in the conference. The rest of the games are against teams a little lower. 3-pointer made by Lands cuts the lead to 7 at 15-8. Nash again inside, the kick outside. That's a shot missed, and River Lands attacks the board. Off for Villain, and now Duel. Duel for Schulten. Schulten 3-pointer off the top of the backboard. I didn't think that hit the wire. Thought the top of the backboard was still in play, but must have hit something else up there. Spencer Jeffrey a lot closer to the play than I am. He blew that one dead. Clark Zamurda. 23 is Evan Cartwright, Dove Kahn, and Ewan Wilson for the Seawolves. Clark on the line. 4th year out of Hamilton, Ontario, former UPI player. 13.4 points, 5.4 boards, and 1.9 assists a game. Shoots it 80% clip from the free throw line and knocks down a couple there for a 9-point Seawolves lead at 17-8. Wilson gets one to go down off the glass. Couple bouncer off the rim and in. Block foul called on Zach Duel. Tommies don't like that one. They say, how about calling that at the other end? Clark, pass a little too hot for Zamurda in the high post. Picked up by the Tommies. Wilson for Duel. Now cross-court pass Lands, tries another triple. That one off the heel, bounces into the hands of Clark. Clark, little fancy dribble there to get by Zach Duel, gets right to the bucket. Rebound Villain. Great move by Clark, but ended up with a higher degree of difficulty shot, I think, than he had to take. Wilson, caught with the toes in the tulips, steps out of bounds. CJ Hansen back in for Evan Villain. Seven-point Seawolves lead. Kahn on the catch for Clark. Tommies work a turnover. It's Wilson. Lays it up and in for 2. Cartwright tried a 3. Rebound into the hands of Duel. Inside, Schulten kicks back out. Picked off, though, by Cartwright. Kick to the corner for Kahn. Tries a three, no good. Rebound inside into the hands of nobody. Samerda had it for a minute, but now it's the Tommy Schulten on the break, and Schulten will pick up the foul and go to the line. Quick transition that time for the Tommies. Foul called on Ewan Wilson. Devin Eddy back in for the Tommies. Marcus Wilson to the bench. That'll put Schulten and Duel into the backcourt. The ball handling duties. Subs coming. It looks like Nash and Voke for the Seawolves. And here comes Vince Littleton back in. Will be for Caleb Schulten. And it is Voke and Nash in. Clark on the drive, gets one to roll through. Hanson tied up and taken away by Evan Cartwright. Cartwright right to Fredericton here in Leo Hayes High School. Ewan Wilson, long three attempt, rebound. CJ Hanson. Hanson's eyes light up here as he sees some open court. There's Eddie who gets free for two. Seawolves' little overplay there on the ball left Eddie the path to the bucket. 3-point contest. The Seawolves in front. Cartwright can't make it six. Eddie on the rebound. Tommies can tie it with a three. Hanson on the cut. Nice feed from Littleton. Scores two. 1-point game, final minute, first quarter. Tommy offense has looked a little better the last few trips. Voke tries the triple, rebound Hanson. Tommies have the lead with a score. Eddie's tip won't count because Littleton will be going to the line. Pollard in for Wilson. And Lance Howlett as well will check back in. This will be for Darren Clark. 35.1 to go. Littleton ties us at 19. Bit of a tale of two halves to this quarter, if you will. It'll be the first eighth of the game seem to be all in favor of the Seawolves, and the second eighth of this game, that would be the second half of the first quarter, if you follow my math, has been all Tommies. The net result is under 30 seconds to play in the first quarter, a 1-point lead for Stu. Long way to go yet in this one, and love the competitive contest that we've got here so far. Sorry about the math, I apologize for that. Try not to have too much of that here on Saturdays. Loose ball, shot clock violation. Eddie lost the handle. Did get down there and get a little floor burn for his troubles trying to get it back. And with 3.1 on the shot clock, pardon me, the game clock, shot clock is off. The Seawolves will have an opportunity to get the lead here at the end of this quarter. Nash tries a long one. Good attempt, it would have counted. but it doesn't go. Tommies 20, Seawolves 19 after quarter one. Seawolves are up by 9 at one point. Seawolves 19 points on 6 of 19 shooting, 3 of 14 beyond the arc, 4 of 4 from the line. Tommies 20 points, are also 4 of 4 from the line. 7 of 16 for 44%, 2 of 6 beyond the arc. So one more field goal and one less three-pointer for the Tommies. Turnovers, 5-4. Tommies have 5 of them. Points off turnovers, 2 each. Tommies +3 in rebounding. And individual stats for SJ. Zmerda 8 points, 3 rebounds. Good start for Ethan. Darren Clark, 7 points. Doyle Burton, 4, and they're the only scorers for the Seawolves. The Tommies, Marcus Wilson has 7. Riverlands has 3. Littleton, Villain, Hanson, Schulten, and Eddy have 2 each. 4 rebounds each for Hanson and Villain. Nobody with a crooked number in assists. Multiple players with 1. Villain, Hanson, 1 foul each, and the Seawolves, Wilson 1 foul, Vogt 1 foul. So no foul issues. And a 1-point contest here going in to Q2. Nash, Pollard, Clark, Howlett, and Vogt. For the Seawolves, Tommy's ball, Hanson, Littleton, Villain, Eddy, and number 13 is Jack Gimby, first-year player out of St. Malachy's High School, seeing his first action here in this contest. There is Gimby. Baseline drive, Tommy's work it out to Vince Littleton for 3. Legal screen on Vogt. Will be Ernest's second foul. Lane blocked by Vogt and got a travel called. Vogt out. Doyle Burton in. Yeah, Coach Hickey saying he put a hand on the ball come out, and Villain gathered it. Not sure how that's a travel, but not going to win that argument at this point in time. Howlett for 3. Front rim, but Burton tracks it down. And Burton had a toe in the tulips that time too. Warm day like today here in Fredericton, those tulips could be sprouting up at any point. Had a quick look at the weather here just a moment ago, and the storm that was brewing for tomorrow suddenly looks like it's not nearly as scary as it read this morning. Pollard 3 rattles through. Back to a 1-point contest. Each team's made a 3 here in this second quarter. Gimby for Eddy. Eddy goes to work inside, and he is fouled on the floor. Hanson for Villain. Villain rises from 12 feet. Little kiss off the window for Evan Villain. There's Nash working his way inside. And the Tommies, you want to turn him into a jump shooter. And some changes happening on the scoreboard says. And again, you got the score up on the wrong side. I think the score is way wrong here on the scoreboard in-house. They've corrected it now to 27-24, and it's still not correct. The Tommies were up 1, and I believe they've outscored the Seawolves in this quarter. I think they've got it backwards here. That's going to do it. Back in play, 27-24 Tommies. Things are straightened out down there. Inside, Burton left that one short. I think Villain had a piece of that one. Hansen, no opposition, right to the bucket. Too easy that time for CJ Hansen. Villain got a hand on that Clark attempt on the way to the bucket. Seawolves come away. Howlett back for Pollard. Burton now for Clark. Clark, sneaky dribble, but Littleton gives him some trouble. 1 to shoot. Clark's got to launch a long one. Littleton tracks down the rebound. Good save for Hansen, ahead for Villain. Eddie's going to direct traffic. Eddie in the post. Puts that one up, gets his own rebound, spins into traffic outside Villain. Three-pointer is good, Evan Villain. Tommy's up 8, 32-24. A little bit of separation here from STU. Seawolves had separation early in the first quarter. Littleton ahead for Gimby. Gimby fouled by Howlett. On the way to the tin for 2. Subs for STU. It's everybody out but Gimby. Nope. Not everybody out but Gimby. Howlett out, Nash back for the Seawolves. It's Gimby on the line. Wilson, Duel, Schulten, and Villain. And Riverlands will be the sub for Gimby. Right there, where he knocks that down to give the Tommies a 9-point lead. Jump ball. Villain gets the tie up on Doyle Burton. Burton out. Here comes Evan Cartwright back in. Cartwright getting more burn here in this game than the previous contest. Zamurda with the catch on the inbounds. Back for Pollard. And Zamurda with 6 on the shot clock. Let's see if the Seawolves know. Now 3 to shoot. Clark way outside. He's going to have to throw one up. He's not going to get there. Not sure the Seawolves were aware of that shot clock situation. Going to be on the side on the violation over to the Tommies. I have to think of Seawolves timeout coming up here. The Tommies will get another bucket on the board. Going to slow this down a little bit if you're SJ, I think. Pollard down on the far side. And there's a 3 from Wilson. No timeout taken. Tommy's up 12. Pollard still checking the chicklets there on the far side. as Nash gets right to the rim. Zach Duell with a tough degree of difficulty too. Little high arching shot. Clark tries it over the lane and gets the 2 points. Duell off the mark on the 3. 10-point contest. Nash into the painted area again. And another 2 points for A.J. Nash. Another foul on the floor, block. And I think this will be Cartwright. See who picked that up. And that goes up on the board. I missed the referee's hand signal. It went on. There's 4 up on the board. And offensive foul that time on Nash as Villain stands in. That was Zamurda before. That's 2 in a row for Zamurda with fouls. Oh, here's our first Icky shuffle of the evening. Tommy's ball on the sideline inbound. Carey called on Schulten. 3:21 to go, 8-point contest. Tommy's in front here in the first half. Wilson picks up the loose ball. Lands, step back, 3 is good. There's the timeout from Coach Paul Vaughn. He stalks into the team huddle. Quick look at the leading scorers. It's Darren Clark with 9, Ethan Zamurda with 8, A.J. Nash with 6. They're the big 3. They take about 50% of the team shots between the 3 of them. The Tommies, Marcus Wilson 10, Evan Villain 7. River Lands with 6 on 2 triples. The leading scorers, the Tommies. Everyone who's been in the game for Stu is on the board. .05 to go here, first half. Tommies plus 11. Pretty decent crowd on hand here. Pollard off for Cartwright. Duell and Nash. Physical battle in the post, and Duell called for the foul. Going to be Zach's second. Schulten with a takeaway, but then stepped on the end line on that. Littleton in for Zach Dool, who picked up his second foul. Quick release on the shot, Zamurda. It doesn't go down. AJ Nash down hard on the tailbone there on that rebound. And we got an out of bounds call here on the Tommies. Nash has popped back up. Says he's fine. He's tougher than a $2 steak, I'll tell you that. That's Sam out doing a little licky shuffle on his own, little towel work on the court. And big round of applause there as well. .238 to go, back in play. Tommy's up 11. There's Nash. Clark leaves that one short. Seawolves attack the offensive glass again. And we've got a jump ball called. CJ Hansen and Jevanitti back in for the Tommies. Around for Riverlands. Hansen, Eddie, good quick ball movement here for Stu. Hansen, deep three. Gets to the heel of the rim, but Eddie is there for the board. He's going to send that back out for Hansen, and Zamurda can't track it down. Cartwright out and Pollard out. Burton and Wilson back in. Clark tries a three, makes a three. Takeaway by Nash. Nash uses the body. Well, Lands did a pretty good job there, but a better job by Nash to force the foul. Timeout, Tommy's 1:21 to go here in the quarter. Coach Hickey going to go into the huddle, talk to the troops here. Key stretch of the game this next little bit. Nash has been very effective getting into the paint. Sure, that's going to be part of the conversation here for Coach Hickey. Part of the timeout, I think, as well, was just to give the officials a little extra stare down, a little scowl. I've been happy with some of the calls here in this half. It'll be Nash on the line to shoot 2. And miss on the first. Players will fill in. Second one rattled out as well, but it's Wilson on the rebound inside for Burton. A little too hot to handle, but he collects it back for Clark. Clark can't get the spinner off glass to go. Eddie gets out the Windex and wipes the board for that one. Over for Littleton, extra pass. Hansen, post for Eddie. Eddie. Oh, that one was in and out for Jevin Eddie. Clark against Eddie, and Littleton on the reach called on the floor, not on the shot. And first foul on Littleton. .17 on the shot clock as Nash inbounds for Wilson. Hansen works the steal, but steps out of bounds. Great effort by C.J. Hansen there. 14 on the shot clock. Referees have conferred, and they're going to go with 14 on the shot clock. Travel there on Doyle Burton. Ethan Zamerda calling for a sub there with 40 seconds to go in this half. Not often you see Ethan asked to come off the court. Eddie with the spin inside draws a foul, and it'll be on Nash. First on Nash, team is over the limit, but I think it was going to be a shooting foul anyway. And there's Zamerda back on for the offensive possession. Eddie with a miss from the line. Devin Eddie, 14.3 points, just shy of 7 boards. 3.4 assists per game as well for Eddie. And he's a very good free throw shooter, over 80% on the season. Goes 1 out of 2 there. So a turnover over to STU, up 9. And 14 on the shot clock in the front court possession. Inbounded for Eddie. Score here would be big for STU. 5 to shoot. Wilson works the clock down. He's going to take the 3. No rim there from Wilson. Nash still playing. And A.J. Nash gets all the way to the bucket for a score in the end. 1 attempt with .7 on the board. Tommies went to sleep there after the Wilson shot. I think they thought the half was going to be over. And Nash takes full advantage. Big bucket from Nash. It's only an and 1. The Tommies have to get in and line up here. .7 on the game clock. And a chance to cut the lead to 6. Heads up play by Nash. Great attack of the rim. And makes the and 1 free throw. So Tommy's a chance for a heave with .7. They're not going to get it. It's going to be the Tommies plus 6, 42-36. But not really the finish to the half the Tommies were looking for there. Didn't get a great look. Let that shot clock get down a little too far and then gave up the and one to Nash for the 6-point lead. 14:45 on the halftime clock. Come back with a couple minutes left on that. I'll run down the stats from the first half. See you then. Hi fans, welcome back to the second half. I'm Bill Gibson, you're watching ACAA TV, Tommy's TV on YouTube. Tight one here, men's ACAA basketball action. It is the Tommies 42, the Seawolves 36. Tommies 2019 after the first quarter and a 22-17 second quarter. Add up to your game score. The Seawolves 36 points, 13 of 34 shooting for 38%. 5 of 19 beyond the arc, 26%. 5 of 7 on the line for 71. Tommy's 42 points on 15 of 31, that's 48% shooting. 6 of 15, 40% beyond the arc. And 6 of 8 from the free throw line, 75. Turnovers 10-9, Seawolves with one more. Tommies with 10 points off those Seawolves off those turnovers to the Seawolves 5. Rebounds +2 for the Seawolves 18-16. And individual stats, Seawolves, Darren Clark 12 points, AJ Nash 9, Ethan Zamurda 8. 5 rebounds for Zamurda, 4 for Doyle Burton. 3 assists for Nash. In terms of foul trouble, Volk has 2, Zamurda 2. And for the Tommies, Marcus Wilson 10 points, Evan Villain 6, Evan Villain 7, Riverland 6. Tommies have a lot more scores. Everyone's been in the game for Stu has at least 2 points. And Lands has 2 fouls, Zach Duell 2 fouls. Assists, Villain 2, Hansen 2, and 4 rebounds each for Villain and Eddie, 5 for Hansen. 3-pointer to open the scoring for the Seawolves in this quarter. And Littleton answers at the other end. Put the Tommies back in front. Six to shoot, Clark on the handle. Now 2 to shoot, Clark to the rim and it rolls through. 4-point contest. Wilson, Hansen, Eddie, Littleton, and Villain, the 5 Tommies. And that's taken away by Howlett. And Hansen gets it back. High stepping off to Villain and now to Wilson. Blocked from behind by Howlett. Numbers for the Seawolves. Zamurda can't make the 3, but there's Howlett doing a little bit of everything. He can't make the put back. And it's Littleton that comes away for Hansen, walks into a 3-pointer. Front rim, rebound Howlett again. Nash, Clark, Zamurda, Howlett, and Burton for the Seawolves. There's Howlett at the rim for the and one. That foul will go on Evan Villain. Howlett was one of my picks this year. Thought he might be a breakout player for the Seawolves. Hasn't quite got the touches with the big 3 of Zamurda, Clark, and Nash getting the bulk of the shots. 1-point contest. Seawolves carried the momentum they got from that Nash and 1 into the second half. Foul goes on Doyle Burton. That's going to be his second. He's still wondering what he did to get the call. Don't really agree with that one. Hansen on the offensive glass. Outside for Wilson. Littleton, Villain. Hansen on the drive. Oh, fancy little move there for C.J. Hansen, and he thought he got a little body on the way to the rim. Didn't get the call. Tommies +3. Nash somehow ends up on the floor with the ball. Zamurda into traffic, fouled by Eddie. One thing Eddie did there was make sure that Zamurda didn't have much chance to get a score. That's Zamurda with a make from the line. That one goes in as well. And back to a one-point contest. Lane looking inside for Hansen. Nash with the takeaway. Nash, Zamurda. Zamurda puts the Seawolves up one. Zamurda out of Simons High School. Great start to this quarter for UNBSJ. Wilson on the miss. Rebound Zamurda. Burton for Howlett. He's going to launch a three and make a three. Timeout, Tommies. Seawolves with a 12-5 start to the quarter. To go up by 4. It's a big game for both these teams. The Tommies do have the season series already at 2-0. This is the third and final meeting of these clubs. You can bet the Seawolves want to get a win in this one. Looking at 2 on the road to the team right behind them in the standings, and in fact, tied with wins going into today's play at Mount St. Vincent. Mystics are at Mount A today. But counting preseason, the Tommies have got the Seawolves 3 times, so you can bet these Seawolves want to get a win on the board here. A Tommy win would give them a little more separation in the standings from the Seawolves. Still only game 8 of the season for the Tommies of an 18-game schedule, so lots to play yet. Forced inside for Eddie. Eddie can't get it to go. Putback doesn't go. On the rebound, it's going to be a foul on Eddie as Howlett is again all over the rebounds. Subs coming for the Tommies. Schulten, Lands, and Duel. Second on Eddie, and off he goes. So it will be Duel, Lands, Schulten, Verlaine, and Wilson. Howlett. Nothing but air on that three-point attempt. Verlaine with a finish off the glass to the and one. That's going to be the third foul on Doyle Burton. Wilson and Kahn in off the bench for the Seawolves. Howlett and Burton out. 1-point contest as Evan Villain with the make from the line. Murda is going to try Duel in the low post. Fall away, that's good defense from Duel. Force the Murda into that shot. Wilson rises from 15 and scores. Tommy's back up 1. Dandy finish, good crowd on hand here as well. Clark left that layup short. Zamurda can't get it to go, but fouled. Third foul on Evan Villain. And here comes Jevin Eddy back in for Evan Villain. Zamurda good from the line, knotted at 52 and even 5 minutes to play. Third quarter. The noise from the upper deck doesn't bother Zamurda. He's been shooting those free throws quite some time. A veteran to all the tricks of the fans. Lands a little too strong. Rebound Darren Clark. Clark's had a better game here than he had in the one just before Christmas. Kahn off to Wilson. Wilson tries a step back 2. Rebound for Zach Duel. Schulten runs to the corner, but the handoff is for Wilson. Land spins into traffic and trouble. Zamurda with the steal. Zamurda right at Eddy, scores 2. That's a great offensive player. Going at a good defensive player there as well. And Zamurda wins that contest. Seawolves +3. Wilson. No, pardon me, Schulten. There's Wilson. Caleb Schulten right to the rim, and he scores 2. Little righty on the left-hand side for Caleb. Missed the signal there from the official, but I think it's going to be Zamurda on an illegal screen. A little pedestrian traffic down front, making it a little hard to see by times. Ooh, and lands way short on the triple into the hands of Wilson for Kahn, and Clark tries a 3. Zach Duel gets the board off for Wilson. Lob inside for Eddy. Jevin Eddy off the board and scores 2. The Tommies back up 1. A little tricky footwork there for Darren Clark. It's the Seawolves up 1. Another lob inside for Eddy. We're calling that an offensive foul on Eddy. And the bucket won't count. It's going to be the third, I think, on Eddy. It is the third on Eddy. A lot of traffic in and out here. I'll do a reset here if I have the opportunity. Kahn, Wilson, Vogt, Nash,
And Zamurda for the Seawolves. Dual, Schulten, Gimby, Wilson, and Lands. And Wilson on the block ahead for Dual. Dual scores over Klon in the end, one. Nice finish for Zach Dual. Another big round of applause here for Sam as he deals with a little perspiration situation. And one finish for the 2-point Tommy's lead. Sub in, Zamurda out, Howlett in. AJ Nash seems none worse for the wear from that hard fall he took in the second quarter. Boak looking inside, deflected by Lands into the hands of Gimby, off for Schulten. Dual shoots a three. That's no good. Howlett a hand on the rebound, and it's Nash. Finally sticks a fork in it and attacks at the other end for 2 points. Again, the Tommies don't stop AJ Nash from getting in the paint, and we're tied at 59. Gimby, I think, was looking for Schulten and just can't connect. CJ Hansen back in for Marcus Wilson. 1:25 to go here in the third. Shaping up to be a dandy fourth quarter. Tie contest. Tommies come in averaging 98. They're going to have a lot of work to do to get there in this one. Need a 30-point quarter in the fourth, basically, to get there, depending on how they finish this final 111. Certainly not out of question, but the game pacing a little bit more to the high 80s of the Seawolves' liking. Dual gets off the shot, and he'll go to the line to shoot two. Foul goes on Howlett. It'll be the second on Howlett. Dual coming in, averages 5 points, shoots at about 70%. Shade less than that from the free throw line. The Tommies up one. And up two. And here's Darren Clark in for AJ Nash. Couple players deep for the Seawolves. Let's see if they try the long pass. Now they come back. Support in pressure. Wilson, now Vogt. Back for Wilson. Wilson gets to the bucket for the score. And tied at 61. Gimby fake, doesn't draw anything on Vogt. A Lands three-pointer. The Tommies up three. And there's Schulten picking up the errant pass to lay it in for two. Seawolves score here is big, a Tommy stop big as well. Let's see what Kahn can do with 6 seconds. Off for Clark. Now 3, 2, Clark to the bucket. Gets a 2 to go at the buzzer to end the third quarter. 3-point contest. Great score by Darren Clark. Let's check out the stats after 3 quarters. So that quarter went 27-24 in favor of the Seawolves. The Tommies give 3 points back there. And they're definitely off their scoring pace of 98 a game. Seawolves 63 points on 23 of 51 shooting. That's 45%. 7 of 24 beyond the arc for 29. 10 of 12 from the free throw line. The Tommies also 10 of 12 from the free throw line, en route to their 66 points. 24 of 49 overall from the field for 49%, and 8 of 23 beyond the arc. So that one made three-pointer is the difference. Turnovers, Seawolves have one more, so that's pretty close. Rebounds, the Seawolves have one more, that's pretty close. Assists, the Tommies +4. Bench points, the Tommies +20 at 25-5. And individual stats, the Seawolves. Darren Clark, 18. Ethan Zamurda, 16. AJ Nash, 11. They are the big three you would expect. 6 rebounds, Zamurda. 4 assists for Nash. 3 fouls, Zamurda and Burton. And for the Tommies, Marcus Wilson has 12. Evan Villain, 10. River Lands, 9. Rebounds at 6 for Hansen, 5 each for Eddie and Villain. Foul trouble, Villain with 3 is the only Tommy showing in the online stats with 3. Thought Eddie might have had 3 as well, but that might be incorrect. I thought Eddie got the foul on the charge that would have been his 3rd. Maybe it was only his 2nd. See what happens. I think he's got 3. Online stats only have him for 2. Tommy's ball with a 3-point lead to start the 4th. And they're back to the starters. Wilson, Littleton, Villain, Hansen, and Eddie. And there's Littleton snaking a 3 in. Clark, Pollard, Zamurda, Vogt, and Howlett for the Seawolves. Side, that's Zamurda. Clears out Vogt. Pass inside, but it's Villain on the deflection, and now Littleton off to Hansen, and Hansen, the athletic score there. Like a little shot put shot. The Tommies jump in front by 8. The 5-0 run to start Q4. Little answer there with a 3-pointer from Howlett. Littleton bombing away. Officials will track that basketball down at half. Howlett uses the Vogt screen. Back to Vogt. Wilson catches him back-footed. Now Vogt steps through. Back around to Clark, 6 to shoot. Howlett, open 3, front rim. That's Zamurda on the rebound for 2. Six-point game, Eddie for Wilson. Tommy's back around the outside. Littleton's going to try another 3. That one partially blocked, but Hansen comes up with the ball, 7 to shoot. And through the hands of Littleton. No, he caught that. I thought that was going out of bounds. Wilson has to shoot one. Tipped by Villain. Pollard finally comes away with it. Pollard for Clark. Zamurda gets a reach in and he'll shoot 2, and it's going to be Littleton. Picks up a foul. AJ Nash back in, Ernest Vogt out. .47 to go, and after that, it's plain to see that the Tommies have a 4-point lead. Hansen on the drive, tied up, fouled. Oh, I think we have a travel called before the foul. So down 4, the ball is back to the Seawolves. Howlett can't make the 3. Off for Eddie on the rebound. Vince Littleton, a good fourth quarter. Give Littleton 8 in the quarter. Nash inside for the cutting Howlett. Way easier said than done, but you got to keep Nash out of that painted area if you're the opposition, and being the Tommies in this case. Lane looked for the pass inside, and now Zamurda with Pollard. And a foul given to C.J. Hansen as Pollard can't get it to go. Comes Zach Duell back in. And it'll be for Jevin Eddy. We'll send Ryan Pollard to the line. Pollard averaging only a couple points a game for the Seawolves. We'll get a lot of opportunity to get a lot of shots up. 2 of 3 from the line coming in today. Miss there. And knocks down the second.
.1 possession game. 6:25 to play. Tommies lose the ball, and it's Clark with the takeaway. Back ahead to Clark. Howlett inside, kicks it out. Nash. Again, he dribbles into the painted area. One-point game, AJ Nash going to work here for the Seawolves. Long 3 attempt for Hansen. Rebound Zamurda. Clark fouled, he'll shoot 2. Blocking foul called on Evan Villain. That's going to be Villain's 4th, I believe. It is the 4th. You're going to have to sit down. Here comes some subs for the Tommies. As Clark shoots the free throw, the Tommies. Duell, Eddy, Wilson, Schulten, and Lands. And for the Seawolves, Wilson, Howlett, Clark, Zamurda, and Nash. And now it's the Seawolves up 1, under 6 to play. Tommies had an 8-point lead in this quarter early. And have since seen a lot of that happen. That's the Seawolves taking the ball away. And a lot more of that, and Nash getting right to the rim for points with no one stopping him from getting into the paint. Eddy in the post, kicks out for a Schulten 3-pointer to tie us at 79. What growth from Caleb Schulten from when he joined the team at this time last year. Schultz really settled in nicely in a backup point guard role for STU. Great move by Nash, but can't get it to go. And Wilson's going to draw a foul. It's going to be just the first team foul on St. John this quarter. Tommies have 3. Wilson tries a 3. Rimmed out, and he'll shoot 3 as Nash fouled him on the closeout. Seawolves' second foul, second on Nash as well. Sends Marcus Wilson to the line. And I probably shouldn't give you the stats for Ewan Wilson. Marcus Wilson, 20.9 points coming in. Just shy of 5 rebounds and 2.7 assists. Wilson, of course, second. Hosea Cromwell Wright in points. Second one doesn't go. But the third one does. 2-point Tommies lead now 81-79. Nash, guarded by Duell, still gets into the paint and will shoot 2. Tommies just can't find an answer for A.J. Nash. Third foul on Duell, fourth on the Tommies. That goes for Nash, 1-point contest. And that doesn't. Tipped by Eddie into the hands of Clark. Nash again to the bucket for 2 points. Lack of controlling the rebound off a free throw cost the Tommies 2 and gave the Seawolves the lead. Wilson to the bucket, doesn't go. There's Eddie working the offensive board. And Eddie's fouled on the floor. It's going to be on Zamurda. And it's going to be the third team foul on the Seawolves. 14 on the shot clock, and we're calling in Sam again for some towel work. Might have to invite Sam over. A little cleaning done at home. And now timeout Seawolves. After all that pondering. One-point contest here, under 4 minutes to play. Leading scorers, Tommies Littleton has 16 now. Wilson 14, Villain 10. And for the Seawolves, Zamurda 20, Clark 20, and Nash 18. Howlett up to 14. A.J. Nash, 5 assists, go with those 18 points. Zamurda 8 rebounds to go with his 20. Zamurda 4 fouls. Doyle Burton 3. We haven't seen much of him here in the fourth quarter, if at all. And for the Tommies, Villain with 4 fouls. He's stapled to the bench right now. An even 4 on the board here. Not under 4 to play. Tommy's inbounding, 14 on the shot clock. A little baseline out of bounds play. Lands can't get it off over Howlett. And it's Zamurda on the rebound. He gets the ball back from Wilson. Screen doesn't come. Wilson guards Nash. Zamurda, fancy dribble, shoots one over Eddy. Good closeout by Jevin Eddy. Tough to see the rim that time for Zamurda with big Jevin coming out at him. Wilson loses a handle, picked up by Ewan Wilson. Nash on the run. Tommies again let him get in deep. That one around the rim and off for AJ Nash. Caleb Schulten has a big 3. Littleton's had a hot quarter and it keeps going. Give Littleton 11 in the quarter. Tommies +2. 3:05 to go. Littleton guarding Clark. Wilson a knock away. Ewan Wilson picks it up, hands off to Zamurda. Corner kick for Howlett. That 3 goes through. Seawolves up 1. And we're going to slow the ball game down here with all the perspiration on the court. It's also going to allow Evan Villain to check back in. It's Marcus Wilson who goes off for Stu. Allows the Seawolves to set up a little pressure. See if Wilson and Clark can get a steal here off of Littleton. Easy inbound, not as much pressure as I thought was coming. Littleton catch 3 again. Oh, that one back rimmer. .224 to go. Seawolves up 1 on the Tommies. Around for Clark, he's going to try a 3. That one is good for the 4-point lead with 2:10 to play. Tommies need a bucket. Schulten's going to try a 3. Jevin Eddy, put back 2 is good. Nash again gets to the rim. That time Villain with a block. Tommies can tie it with a 2 on this trip. 1.5 to play in the fourth. Knocked away. Entry pass. That's Howlett. He's had a really good game for the Seawolves. Tommy's looking for a stop. Seawolves looking for a bucket. Howlett 3 is good for the 5-point lead. Timeout Tommies. As Lance Howlett having himself a game. Tommies. I think there's about 1:21 or so to go on the game clock. Find themselves stuck 5. Let's see what the Tommies have got here. See if the Tommies choose to advance here out of the timeout. And it certainly looks like they will choose to advance. No, they won't choose to advance. Go full court with a full 24. Tommies, one more timeout they can use in this final 2 minutes. Don't need a three this trip. You only need a score. Marcus Wilson back in. Off for Littleton. He's going to try the three. Leave it short. River lands. Collects a rebound. Under a minute to play. Not a lot of time to play around here. You're down 5. Jevon steps back, shoots the three. That one's through for Jevon 45 seconds to play. The Tommies down 2. They need a stop. And it comes with keeping A.J. Nash out of the paint for one. There's Howlett inside Zamurda. 4-point lead, Seawolves. 35 seconds to go. Wilson. Around for Littleton. Knocked away Zamurda. This one's looking like it's going to go the Seawolves' way as Ewan Wilson scores. Timeout Tommies. And the St. John Seawolves, 22.2 seconds and a 6-point lead away from giving the St. Thomas Tommies their first mark in the loss column this season. Too many turnovers for the Tommies and too much A.J. Nash making his way to the bucket for points and assists, getting others involved. Quick check here of the stats. One last time this quarter so far. 32-23 SJ. Individual leaders, Littleton 19, Wilson 14, Villain and Eddie 10 each. And for SJ, Zamurda 24, Clark 23, Howlett now up to 20, and Nash 18. The Tommies do choose to advance this time, of course. And now you might be hunting a three. Little wide box set here on the inbound. Post for Eddie. Eddie kicks for Wilson. Wilson. That doesn't go. Tipped out. Controlled by the Seawolves. And the Tommies don't get a bucket, give a foul. Chance for Darren Clark to put this one on ice for the Seawolves. .2 seconds to play. And that's going to ice it. 7 or 8 points in 12.2 seconds, not impossible, but nearly so. And the Tommies going to have to go the whole length of the court. They don't have any more timeouts left. Littleton gets off a three. Back rim. Rebound Seawolves. Seawolves pick up the win over the Tommies. Lance Howlett, big game for the Seawolves. Stu drops to 6-1. UNBSJ improves to 6-1. This may shake up the national rankings. Chance as well for MSVU to be a 6-win team if they win today at Mount A. Next week, Seawolves at the Mystics for 2. Tommies host Mount A Saturday, Sunday, right here at the pit on ACAA TV and Tommies TV on YouTube. So it's the Seawolves giving the Tommies their first loss here on the men's side of play. Thanks for tuning into this one. Thanks for the teams. Entertaining contest, well-deserved win by the Seawolves. Really outplayed the Tommies. A.J. Nash wrecking ball at Lance Howlett Great game. Ethan Zamurda doing Ethan Zamurda things. For everyone here at St. Thomas, I'm Bill Gibson. This one has been an absolute blast. And that's the always amazing Alice in the producer's chair, and everyone else here does great work for the Tommies. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for tuning in, folks. See you next week when Mount A comes to town.